Hi everyone, I am 𝐬𝐿𝐿 and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode of Our Life Beginnings and Always, we are going to be doing moment 3 of step 3. But before we get started, make sure to subscribe and share this video to your friends so then they can have amazing challenges like you ever know. So yeah, let's get into it. I hope you enjoy. Lord. Okay, so talks. Another kid's summer day was drifting by. Your daydreams were chasing each other, not sticking around long enough to become a firm plan, but you really didn't mind that right now. A tapping worked its way into those dreams. Focusing more, you realized it was coming from your window. A grin popped on your face as though it had been waiting all day for this moment. Heading to the window, you could see Cove outside. His habit of climbing this way truly was a true Coveism. He'd rather scale your house than wait a couple extra minutes for you to come down. You held out a hand to him. You offered Cove a hand to help him. Once he was mostly inside, he took it to help steady the last bit of his entrance. He needed the help despite how many times he'd done this. Hey, Mina. Hey to you. You think my mom should invest in some bigger windows? Cove laughed at that and took one last look at his exclusive entrance. He hummed with a teasing look. It'd make my life easier, that's for sure. Cove's voice came out quietly with a strangely pleased smile on his face. Did something happen? Cove opened his mouth to answer, only to have your phone ring and cut him off. You have turned to where it rested a little further up on your bed. It was still face down, so you couldn't tell who was calling. It's okay. Your attention shot back to Cove. He smiled at you awkwardly. Go ahead. Go check. It could be important. I'll wait. Thanks. He shuffled forward and scooped the little noisemaker into your hand. You flipped it over and checked the caller ID. It's Miranda. Oh, you should answer it. I want to say hi too. Hello, Miranda. With a nod, you accepted the call and set it to speaker. Hi, Miranda. Hi. Oh God, what's wrong? There was something off about her tone. Cove met your gaze and you saw the same confusion in his expression. Have you heard from Terry at all, or did you hear about her from Cove? Huh? No, she hasn't called me, but Cove is with me right now. Hey. Oh, hi, Cove. Is that what you were gonna say? He shook his head no, but before realizing that it wasn't a good enough answer when one person couldn't actually see it. No, Terry hasn't called me today either. Is something wrong? At that, Miranda couldn't hold herself together anymore. The muffled sobs from the other side of the line were unmistakable. Terry doesn't like me anymore, if she ever did. Aww, what? That doesn't sound right. You're probably her best friend out of all of us. Yeah, why do you think that? She sniffled and there was a pause and you could hear her shift the phone to her other hand. Terry was here the other night watching movies with me. We were up super late. She realized her parents probably went to bed so that they couldn't pick her up. My mom and dad were definitely asleep then. Dad works early. I tried telling her it was okay to just spend the night and she could text her parents what happened, but Terry really didn't want to. You glanced at Cove. He looked equally unsure as you about where the story was going. It didn't sound like a friendship ending situation. I suggested things to make it easier if she was nervous, like she could sleep by herself in my room while I stayed somewhere else. Yeah. And I said we didn't have to sleep at all. We could have kept watching movies until one of our parents woke up. I wouldn't have minded. I know not everyone can do sleepers, but Terry wouldn't even tell me what was really wrong or what I could do to help. I thought we could tell each other anything. I guess I was wrong. Did she stay in the end? No, we got too loud in the kitchen and my dad woke up. He offered to drive her home when he heard what was wrong. She texted me apologizing for my dad having to do that when he needed rest, but that was it. She doesn't talk to me anymore. You can hear every bit of the tears and heartbreak in Miranda's voice. This continued to be a shock for your neighbor, but Cove recovered and spoke gently. I'm really sorry. There's no way Terry wanted to make you feel this bad, or that she's just done with your friendship because of this. Miranda sniffing continued. You hope she had plenty of tissues handy. It's really weird that she acted like that. You couldn't wrap your mind around it. This seems so unlike Terry. Maybe that's why I was bothering Miranda so much. Miranda's voice sounded a little bit more collected after finishing her story, but you knew that the crying was far from being done. I thought she'd have reached out to one of you by now. Maybe she's not talking to anyone. Yeah. Sorry for bothering you and Cove about this. Hey, we're here for you. Right, you can tell us things. Thank you. Her shaking voice finally conveyed a little optimism, or at least relief that what she wasn't dealing with it entirely on her own. If you do hear from her anything, could you let me know if she's alright? We can. Thanks. Let's talk later, okay? Bye. 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 That didn't really seem like an especially productive point to end the call, though you also weren't sure where to go from there. Looking to Cove, his face seemed as lost as yours. With no alternative, you hung up and put your phone back on the bed. Cove crossed his arms, a frown creasing his face. He began to pace the length of your room, clearly trying to put the pieces together in his head in a way that made sense. Can we go to her house or something? Do you guys not go to each other's houses? You were worried. Biting the inside of your cheek, you stared at the ground, hearing Miranda Soto's trot like that was not easy. And what about Terry? The uncertainty was tearing you up. The empty state of your head before learning this was not helping you now. You couldn't put two thoughts together, and flopping back in your bed, you stared into space. We should probably try calling Terry. That might not be the best idea. Cove's voice diminished, dragging you back to some grounding. He stopped pacing, but you saw a protrude look on his face. Yeah, I'm worried about her too. You bounced up and moved to his side, ready to act on whatever plan you two could come up with. Cove started with the easiest thing. He pulled out his phone and called Terry. Cove let it ring and ring and ring and ring. Terry didn't answer. There wasn't even an option to leave a voice message. Your shoulders slumped and Cove looked even more troubled, if that was possible. He turned to you as if for some lifeline. Could you try calling? I'm gonna send a text, just like, hey, I was trying to reach you, call me or something. Yeah. Took your phone once more. Unfortunately, after another set of interminable rings, the line went dead. No answer, no voicemail. Hanging up, you saw Cove visibly deflate. He rubbed his arm, eyes distant, openly struggling with the whole affair. I don't like this at all. They're fighting, we barely know anything, and we're just supposed to wait and see? I tried to make it sound nice, but didn't at all. Oh no! Despite it only being a minute since he texted Terry, Cove checked his phone again. He was desperate for progress, for something, and you frowned as you watched him. Oh my god, you need to try and relax. Cove stared hard at the screen, as though he was trying to will a new message to appear. As your words sank in, his gaze slid over towards you. Just a little bit? Come on, you're working yourself up. Closing his eyes, he took a deep breath and released it slowly. It wasn't much, but you could see him ease up slightly. Yeah, you're probably right. Oh my god. Cove was still gripping his phone with both hands, as though it might fly away if he let go. He looked to you with almost painful earnestness. What should we even do if we hear from one of them? His pacing resumed as he attempted to answer his own question. We should probably tell them to talk to each other instead of only us, maybe? Oh my god. He slowly came to another halt like a gear winding down. I don't know. You didn't say anything. Cove lowered his gaze. You realized then just how much he had been counting on you to come up with a reply. His back was rigid as stone. That heaviness weighed on you, dragging your heart down with it. Do you have a problem with me? Though quiet, your words were clear and concise. Yet, Cove hardly moved, almost as though he hadn't heard them. I'm fine. That served to prove he had gotten the message, even if his own response wasn't exactly helpful. You grimaced as he stared back at him, folding your arms in annoyance. Oh god, please don't start fighting. Did I just start a fight by accident? Oh god. For several minutes, you both remained there in silence, drowning in your own thoughts. Eventually, Cove turned around. I'm gonna text Terry that we already know what's going on. Maybe she'll have an easier time talking to us because she won't have to pretend or explain. No, that's not good. Oh my god. That's not a good diet. That's not a good idea, Cove. Cove's mouth turned down, and you could see the grip on his phone tighten at the corner of your eye. You wondered if he was even aware of it. Why not? Would she want to hear that we know about that? If Terry wants to hear the story, she tells herself. But what if she doesn't? Then we respect her privacy, that's what. You have to stop whatever this is. Oh my god, you little a-hole. Cove's eyes narrowed into a sharp silt, a look that was almost unheard for him to direct at you. His tone of voice was equally as cutting. Oh my god. Are you serious? This is what you want for us to start fighting too? Oh my god, we can tell him to go home. No, I don't. If this had been an argument in his mind, you'd throw in the towel anytime. You try to speak in. I don't want any fighting.
Sorry.
No, go back. Tell him to go home. Oh my god, we can tell him to go home. Go home, Cove. That's what you get for making me mad. Don't slit your eyes at me. Cove stared at you like he couldn't quite understand what you just said. Then his mouth dropped open, seemingly unable to close back up again. His ears shook as he searched your face for any answers. You crossed your arms, letting his antics sway you. Your foot tapped impatiently. Bye! Bye, boy. Go home. Cove showed his back to you and briskly walked out of your room. Without thinking, you followed a few steps behind and watched him speed through your house and then out the front door. Your feet froze on the threshold. Cove started crouching in the street. He didn't look back once. Don't come back. You couldn't get that last look on his face out of your mind. You had every reason to ask him to leave, and he was making everything about himself again. Cove didn't stop or flinch at your words. He kept going, and that only made things worse. There was a burning volcano inside you, and all you wanted was it to pour out. Cove reached his front door, promptly opened it, and stepped inside. The slam of it shutting reverberated through the neighborhood. You retreated back to the safety of your house. You ran into your room, shutting the door as quietly as Cove had closed his loudly. Our silence stressed on for hours. The uncertainty left you in total agony, but it likely wasn't that long before there was a knock at your bedroom door and Mom peeked in. Hey, Mina, just wanted to check on you. When she saw your morose expression, she opened the door all the way. Mom was sitting there as well. She slipped past her wife to come inside your space.
Everything okay?
What's with the long face? Are you okay? I'm okay. Your body language could not have contradicted you more strongly, and you knew it. You couldn't even lift your eyes off the floor, as though the weight of your word was dragging your head down. Miranda called earlier. She and Terry are fighting, but none of us know what's going on with Terry. Your parents exchanged a meaningful look, though its meaning was lost on you. I'm so sorry to hear there's trouble with your friend, sweetie. Is there anything we can do to help? No, I'm just waiting to see if Terry calls or texts, or if Miranda does, or if something else happens. Well, we can at least help you take your mind off of things while you're waiting. Another great idea, Lonnie. We can get the whole gang together for some quality time. Mom gave you a soft smile and added, this will be good, especially since it might help make up for what happened at the farmer's market. Aw. It's okay. You guys don't have to worry about that. Yes, it'll be wonderful. I'll go see what Liz is up to right now. You cracked a smile, knowing your family was always there for you, but that couldn't be underestimated. In fact, it meant everything to you that your moms cared so much. I really appreciate this. Thank you. You're welcome. Don't sweat it. Not so, kiddo. Leave things to us. Just relax and we'll call you when it's all together. You nodded. Your mom dispersed for now, springing into action for the improv get-together. Emotionally exhausted, you flopped on your belly under the mattress and hugged a pillow to your chest. From that position, you struggled for a few minutes to pull your phone out. When you got it, you saw that there weren't any new messages. You sighed and dropped yourself on the blanket next to you. To think, not so long ago, you had been in the same place in such peaceful complexion. How was it things could turn so bad so fast? You flipped over onto your back and stared at the ceiling. Your mind kept racing, circling back over everything that happened and it happened again and again. At some point, your eyes closed and your thoughts slowed to a fresh silence. A soft sound pulled you back to the present, a unique and painfully familiar type of tapping, just loud enough to be heard and with unusually long pauses in between. Cove. Oh, God. Go home. Sitting up, you flung a pillow at the window. It hit the glass with a soft puff and fell to the floor. Hopefully that was a clear enough message for him. For the next several breaths, you could only hear your heart pounding in your ears. You weren't sure if Cove was hesitating or leaving. And then your phone rang. You picked it up to see a single word text from Cove, but more rapidly came through. Mina? I'm sorry. Can I come in? I remember what you said, but I want to see you. Like a house of cards built in sand, you felt your anger at Cove shaking. Your eyes trailed back towards the window. Cove started deftly tapping on the glass again. You couldn't resist. Your will wasn't that strong and he knew it. You crossed the room and flung open the window. Cove was waiting there timidly with a tiny smile. He clambered through the window. When he was completely in sight, he stood there awkwardly. Silently, you went away from him and sat down on the side of your bed. Looking around for a place of his own, he settled on a chair off to the side. His hands fidgeted and his mouth opened and closed a few times before he could make any actual words come out. Thank you for letting me in. You took a keen interest in a loose thread on your blanket, yanking on it slowly. Though you did not sure what else to say, you pulled the thread again, unraveling it slightly more. I really didn't. I didn't mean for things to dissolve the way they did after Miranda's call. I know it wasn't your fault, but you were the one I got worked up at because you were there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, too. I know what I said upset you. I don't want to make you feel bad. You were truly apologetic. Having such hard feelings stay between you would be horrible. A breath escaped him like a dam bursting, and the smile that followed was a little broken to match. Everything today is just really crappy. Cove chewed the inside of his cheek. He was carefully trying to put his thoughts together this time. He spoke in a fragile voice. When people you care about, when they're unhappy with each other, there's nothing you can do. At least when you're a fight yourself, you have some responsibility, some control over it all. I wish it didn't have to happen, but that is possible. Oh my god, that isn't possible, so oh well, I guess. His attempt at giving a nonchalant shrug after that was pitiable. True, but you're right, it can't be helped. I know. He replied that he could barely muster the strength to speak. Well, we just have to focus on the things we can impact, or at least try. You turned to Cove, hoping your eyes conveyed the message you were feeling better than your words. His gentle nod told you that they did. There was a question you had to ask. Is it because of what happened with your parents? Oh. Cove put a hand through his hair, a strained smile spreading across his lips. For him, the pain struck close to his heart. Just as quickly as it had come, his smile was gone, lost amidst his faraway gaze. Yeah, you got it. It's like my parents. Despite knowing him for so many years, Cove had never spoke of the years before he moved to Sunset Bird, before his parents separated in any detail. He whispered his thoughts distantly, almost unconcerned with whether you could hear them or not. They used to fight all the time. Oh. I think they got along when I was a baby. I mean, they had to have wanted to be with each other at some point. But when I was old enough to remember anything, it was already bad. Oh my god, Cove. There was always something wrong I could never help. I just wanted them to be happy. You tried to imagine your mom's breaking up, and the very idea scared you. But Cove had endured that for real. I'm sorry. Mina? It's okay. Despite that revelation, Cove gazed reassuringly at you. It's not like that anymore. Things are so different now, I don't even really think about it. Again, the sorrow reassured itself. When he continued, you could barely hear him. Though I guess it's pretty obvious I haven't forgotten either. Aww. No hug him. He crossed the room, picking up a little bit of speed, and Cove's eyes widened. He shot out of the chair and stood waiting for you with a nonplussed look. When you glided into him, wrapping your arms around his middle and knocking the air out of his lungs, all mystery was gone. Cove squeaked. Oh. He returned the gesture longingly. Exhaling, you pressed your cheek into the warmth of his chest. The tension stuck inside you released like the river flowing into the ocean that was Cove. Jeez, you're at his chest? Dang, he's tall. The firmness of his hug told you Cove didn't plan on letting go anytime soon. You both needed the comfort and closeness for just a little bit longer. When he finally did, he kept hold of your hand. The two of you took a seat again, this time side by side on your bed. Today was a lot, huh? Yeah, it was. Oh, you leaned against him. Resting the side of your head on his shoulder, you glanced up at his face. Cove watched you affectionately. In that gentle gaze, you finally felt like everything was going to be okay. No matter what happens, we can make it work. His mouth pulled into a bent smile at that. You chuckled, resting your head comfortably back on his shoulder. I think so too. He couldn't sit still anymore. Cove leaned in, delicately pressing his lips to your forehead, and he raised one free hand to lightly touch your jaw. The breath caught in your throat. When you remembered to breathe, blood rushed to your face, turning your skin a deep red. You try not to think about how hot you were feeling because after everything that happened today, you were just grateful for the moment. And for a while, you stared like that. A comfortable silence fell between you, and the sun fell with it. The warming calm ended when Cove gasped sharply. You spun, half expecting to find him nursing an injury, but instead found him staring straight ahead. What?
Oh my God.
I think my phone just vibrated. Oh no! Check it out. Terry, He patted his pockets, fumbling in his panic, and yanked the phone out. The force of the action nearly catapulted the device out of his grip entirely once, but he caught it just in time. His eyes honed in on the screen. It's Terry, thank God. She says she's sorry. He looked back at you, eyes wide as his nerves started to fray once more. What should I say? Tell her to call us! Okay. He flashed you a shaky smile as he began to type. You suspected that he had had similar thoughts himself, but wanted the reassurance of a second opinion. Cove's phone buzzed nearly as soon as the message was sent. Ah, it's Terry again. She's talking to us. You leaned in, watching the conversation unfold on Cove's screen. She's gonna actually call. Cove held his breath as you waited. Though he was good with people, he'd never been at ease managing conflict. His phone rang out. Cove jammed the answer button once. He switched the phone into speaker mode, allowing you to participate in the conversation. But despite his immediate reaction, his voice lacked the same resolve when he spoke. Hey. It was tentative, a white flag fluttering in the wind. Mina is here too. Hi, we've been worried about you.
Hey.
Hi, Terry! Hey, buddies. Terry's face is barely recognizable without her usual quick pattern energy.
Okay.
Are things okay? I don't know, probably not. Cove tensed, his free hand coiling into an anxious fist. Okay, God. Can you talk to us about what happened? You heard Terry sigh over the phone as she unburdened herself. Pretty much, I was at Randy's house. We decided to watch some movie she super liked that I'd never ever seen before. Turns out there's a lot of those. We watched one, then another, and another. We were having so much fun. Each time one finished, she had another one to share with me. I didn't really think about the time. I only wanted to say yes to Randy and watch her movies. She spoke wistfully, but her words were full of affection. It was Randy, you know? I wasn't thinking about my schedule, what time it was. I get it. Then I finally saw the time, and no, it was way too late. I already knew I couldn't stay. She took a deep breath, her voice becoming softer when she resumed talking. I was so stressed out, I just couldn't deal with it. Miranda wanted to help. She kept coming up with ways to make it better and trying to figure out why I was so upset and stuff. I was trying to answer her questions, but there were so many, but I couldn't really answer all of them. I didn't even know why some of her ideas didn't work with me. It made my head ache. I still had the first problem, Randy there, trying to help, blasting all these questions and suggestions at me faster than I could even think. She gulped audibly, sniffing. I got frustrated and told her to just leave me alone. But then she wanted to talk about why I wanted that. And we started having a fight in the kitchen. It woke Randy's dad up. We told him about how I wanted to go home, but my parents couldn't get me, so Mr. Eckert offered to do it. That's nice of him. Terry groaned. I know! I accepted because I definitely couldn't stay then, not after throwing a racket and turning it into a big deal. But I feel awful and embarrassed. Why did I yell at Randy and hurt her feelings? And I made her dad lose sleep by waking him up and having to drive me home. What do you say after that? I have no idea. I don't know where to start, and I don't want to make it worse by saying the wrong thing and fighting again. So I'm not talking. Terry, Randy isn't mad that you didn't want to stay or that you fought. She just wants to feel like you can talk to her. I mean, you can say whatever you want. She'll listen. No, not talking to her at all is pretty much the wrong way to go about it. Terry lamented mournfully on the other end of the line, but he had a point. Unless she faced Miranda again, there would be no resolution. He looked at Cove, hunched over the phone, staring passively into it, and searching for a solution. This couldn't be someone with the other key party missing, but if he brought him in, your phone was still free. No, suggest it. What if we called Miranda? That way you could talk to her but wouldn't have to do it alone. Cove brightened up, the concerned furrow in his brow, which had taken root when Miranda first called, eased. That could work. Terry, you up for it? She made a noise that wasn't a word, but nevertheless conveyed her hesitation and worry. But she brought it to a close with the decisive exhalation. Oh my God, are you serious? I forgot how to pronounce this word. exhalation. I don't know how to say that. As if pushing all negative thoughts from her body. Alright, I'll do it. Cove nodded. Now that you'd received approval from everyone, you pulled out your phone and called Miranda. You set it to speaker and waited for her to pick up. Luckily, she did. Hi, Mina. Her voice was still distant, as if her thoughts were elsewhere, but it was loud enough for your needs. Hi, you're on speaker. Terry's on speaker too, on Cove's phone. Oh. She paused while she digested this information. You watched the phone screen, hoping that she wouldn't hang up as a result. Oh, really? Yep, it's really me. Can you hear my voice all the way from your house to theirs and mine? I can. You and Cove exchange, oh my god, I cannot talk. Looks, waiting for the wall between them to break and wondering who would be the one to do it. As the quiet dragged on, you caught Cove chewing his cheek. He must have weighed up the same question as you, whether to encourage the conversation along or leave Miranda and Terry to resolve it themselves. The answer came in the form of one sniff, followed by another from Cove's phone. Sorry, Randy. I hope you still like me. What? You were the one acting as if you didn't like me. Her tone was defensive, no doubt a result of her wounds from last night still being raw. No way! Everyone likes Randy. You're wonderful. Your eyes met Cove's. His phone was tilted towards you, capturing the call indirectly. You moved your phone closer to his, hoping that the signal was strong enough to convey every nuisance of tone. Cove did likewise, bringing his cell right next to yours, even bumping against it as it shifted his grip. I didn't know what to say. That's the only reason I wouldn't talk to you. If I had known the answer, I'd have told you right away. Miranda murmured on the end of the line. You didn't want to say. Anything I tried to do bothered you, and you could have told me you didn't know. Yeah, I think I was angry at myself. I did a dumb thing and I didn't want to help with it. I wanted to be mad and just deal with it myself. It made me keep doing dumb things. Oh. When she spoke again, her voice was quiet, as tender and vulnerable as the words.
I'm sorry.
Staying up late watching stuff was all my fault. I had to find a way to fix it. That's what I thought anyway, but it should have given you space. I'm sorry for being so pushy and sensitive. Hardly! Miranda Eckert having a flaw? I've never heard of such a crazy thing. Miranda let out a ghost of a giggle. Cove cleared his throat. Maybe you should call each other now. Sorry. Can do. Thanks for giving me the kick in the butt to this already. Randy, Mandy, I'm gonna call you right now. Bye, Mina and Cove. She hung up after squeezing another quick bye, though not giving you or Cove room to respond in kind. Miranda left, the noise twinkling gently like wind chimes in a summer breeze. Thank you for listening and helping. I'm gonna hang up now so I can answer Terry's call. Bye. Bye and good luck. Bye, talk to you soon. Okay, well that went good. Miranda hung up, still chuckling softly as your call ended. The room felt emptier without the other voices in it. Cove expelled a sigh that crashed through the newly fallen silence. He dropped his arms to his sides, letting his head hang down like a puppet at rest. Thank God. The day's events had drained you. Cove scratched at his face, his expression cloudy. I think I need to find better ways for dealing with conflict, because that was awful. Yeah, I think that would help. Cove meekly smiled as he rubbed at his eyes. Weariness creeping over him and mumbled his next words. We can talk about it another day. Conflict resolution methods? Huh? Oh no, forget it. Your eyebrows rose and then a light bulb went off in your head. Before Miranda called, didn't you say there was something you wanted to say? Cove's original visit had been thrown so off kilter that it was a struggle to wind your memory back to when he'd first turned up. Now you did, though. You remember that he'd been perky when he'd arrived this afternoon. Was it good news? Cove brushed his hands against his now folded arms shyly. Well, yeah, maybe. I'm not exactly sure it counts as news or even good. It just is what it is. I'm happy about it, though. You were curious, but you didn't want to push Cove and he didn't want to speak about it. You don't have to say anything, but if it makes you feel good, I think it's good news. Cove chuckled awkwardly, a hand creeping up to ruffle the hair on the back of his head. It's fine. If you want to hear, I can tell you. He shifted on his feet as if a different posture might give him the support he needed for the conversation. I didn't want to make it a big deal, but I I just know what my sexuality is now. Oh my god, that's so cool! Oh! A real subject change, huh? Oh my god, that's so cool. He chuckled. True, it was unexpected, but you were excited that Cove had come to understand himself more. And glad he wanted to share that with you. That's great. Tell me more. Cove drew a breath, straightening up. I'm demisexual, so you know, most of the time I don't really have those kind of feelings, physical wants and stuff. It's only in some situations when I'm already really emotional and romantically connected to someone that I start to ever think about anything sexual, and it's only with them. I hadn't heard the term until pretty recently, and it just made a lot of sense. Once I knew what it meant, I had a word that fit how I felt. And I'm pan-romantic, because I've never had a preference for a specific gender or anything, so yeah, that makes sense. Cove looked down at the floor. Being so open and direct about a matter that personal, which you were sure he'd spent a long time trying to figure out, seemed to be kind of weird for him. Despite that, there was a small, proud smile on his face, and when he looked again, his gaze was steadfast. Ask. Oh my god, Cove! Cove flushed and frowned equally hard at the statement. He struggled to get a response. Yeah. Oh my god! Was not expecting that. Oh my god. What's Cove? What kind of thoughts? Mina, you don't need to ask that. Oh my god. Oh, I love this conversation. You weren't sure that was true, but couldn't help chuckling at how bashful he was. And no matter what, you wouldn't be getting a more explicit response than right now. The topic was dropped. All this talk of Cove's sexuality made you reflect about your own. It had, whatever, you're still straight. Cove had known for years now. It was heartwarming that he had reached a point where he felt similarly capable of discussing his own. You felt even closer. You could tell that Cove felt like it had been an emotionally draining day. Now that had... What? Felt like it had been an emotionally draining day that had now come to a close, everything wrapped up neatly with a bow on top. You'd have some good talks with your friends and with each other. A lot had been brought out into the light, and you come out of it not only knowing each other better, but yourself too. But there was still something that Cove didn't know. Something that had... Oh, God, no. Let's not tell him. Something that had got at you many times over the years. You never told Cove about how you first met his dad. Oh, no. You'd always held it back from him, unsure of how he would take the revelation. His dad seemed to have done the same, as Cove didn't seem to have heard of it from Mr. Holden either. I mean, we are telling each other. Should we tell him? Maybe tell him Sunday, but not today. You didn't feel like it mattered anymore. There was no need to break up all drama. But it's not even drama. It was a long time ago. Tell him. I don't care. It was time to tell Cove about the deal that his father proposed. You were ready. Today was the day to tell Cove the full story of how you come to know him. Cove? You looked his attention from the way you spoke his name. There's one more thing I'd like to talk about. Cove raised an eyebrow but didn't say anything. He was listening. You... Plainly, lightheartedly, or cautiously? Just be direct. Remember back when we first met? I actually met your dad first. You had run off and he was waiting outside to see if you come back. That was when he was spying me on my way home for the day. Cove nodded, eyebrows still raised. You could tell he was trying to predict where this was going. You could also see that he was failing. He was really worried about you. He was willing to do anything to help you fit into your new life here, so he offered me $20 to be your friend. Oh my god! We said it! Cove's eyes widened into huge circles as you uttered the final sentence. His mouth hung open, ready to speak, but no words followed. You stood still, giving him time to process this revelation. Oh my god, please. Don't be mad. Please don't be mad. You watched the layers of sabotage being ripped away as his eyebrows rose higher on his forehead, followed by a deepening frown. What? What? And then Cove burst into a roar of laughter. That's horrible. He tried to bribe you? And you were, what, 8? Dad, why? Oh my god. Cove was bent over with laughter, one arm supporting his sides. He covered his eyes with the other hand, hiding the tears of mirth sprouting in the corners. You've laughed along with him, though your laughter stemmed from a release to finally be open with him and to have him accept it well. Eventually, your giggles wound down. Cove wiped the last of the tears from his eyes, still grinning as he took wheezing breath. Wow. He shook his head. That's my dad. That's my dad. I guess there's always another Clifford surprise waiting in the wings. But $20, how about a cheapskate? Oh my god! Considering how much time we spent together since I moved in, you were paid pennies on the hour. No, not even that much. Just 1 penny an hour, a fraction of a penny. I said he offered. I got even less than that, nothing, because I didn't take money from a random person on the street. Cove gave you a loop-sized smile with a shake of his head. What? Didn't he run away or something? I don't even remember. Sorry, you definitely get the short end of the stick. I'm just relieved you're not upset about it. Cove shrugged his shoulder, nodding sympathetically. Yeah, I can't exactly blame you for worrying over this. I was sensitive growing up, especially about things like that. What's this about? You were sensitive. You still are. Cove smirked, taking your jest in stride. I'm not as bad. I've made at least a little bit of progress. I mean, I'm taking this well. That proves it, so there. His eyes glinted at you playfully. He might as well have stuck his tongue out once he's finished. You chuckled, wondering if the juxtaposition between him claiming to have grown and the childish end to the statement was deliberate for your amusement. Regardless, you were glad that you could talk about this openly with Cove now, no longer fretting over how or when he might uncover the truth. You breathed a satisfied sigh of relief, as the weight you've been carrying from childhood was lifted from your shoulders. Cove reached out and took your hands in his, squeezing gently. Aww! Your eyes met and you knew that your feelings of being glad to be there, glad to know him, reciprocated in full. Thanks for telling me, I appreciate the honesty. He grinned slyly. What? And now I've got more ammo to tease Dad with. Oh my god, you're welcome. Oh my god, we're still not done? Oh, when you were gone for a little while, my mom said they wanted to get everyone together to hang out. Can you join? Cove smiled shyly, still bashful about what happened before, though he tried not to let it show. Sure, I can do that. With a renewed spring in your step, you led the way out of your room. You got downstairs to find the others already assembled and waiting.
Hi.
Hello. Hey. Good to see you both.
Hey.
Hi, here we were, trying to corral everyone into a group, but the two of you were already upstairs the whole time. Yes, of course we were together. You paid me to stick with me, or did you forget? The statement was meaningless to your family, who looked to each other for answers in vain. Mr. Holden, who got the message loud and clear, seemed embarrassed. He chuckled nervously, rubbing the back of his neck, and then his hand froze in place. Wait, when did you figure that out? You never mentioned it growing up. Today, just now, Mina told me. Mr. Holden's hand awkwardly slid off his neck as he stared at Cove, the answer catching him off guard. Out of the corner of your eye, you saw Mom mouthing questions at you. Everyone was waiting for an explanation. Similarly to his son, Mr. Holden broke out into laughter and turned to address you, and a hand laid over his chest. I can't believe my partner in crime betrayed me, and after all these years, I thought we had something. Well, I wanted to tell him I'm sorry. His voice was deliberately light, assuring you this was only a joke. He shook his head, throwing off the gist as he spoke seriously. I have to admit, I'm actually just amazed that you kept it under your hat this long. You never You never should have. I want to know why my dad kept it a secret all this time. Mr. Holden looked back at Cove, lines forming on his forehead as his wide eyes signaled a wordless apology. Oh, it's okay. Can we hear exactly what the secret is? The suspense is killing us. Right. Alright. I'd better get everyone up to speed. Okay, take a picture. He held up his hands, palms out, pacifying his audience, or perhaps holding them up as a shield in advance. The first day I met Mina, I'd been worrying about Cove being alone for the summer. There weren't a lot of kids around. He wasn't exactly on the best terms with me at that time. He glanced around at your family, gagging their responses. I feel like this is like my one shot, so I kind of offered her $20 to be friends with Cove and added that she couldn't tell him about it. This gas, Mom was staring incredulously at Mr. Holden while Mom's eyebrows had retreated to her hairline. You and Cove, already knowing the story, were the only ones unaffected. But after a while, I really did honestly forget it even happened. He raised his hands higher than level with his shoulders. Not a bad idea, you thought. If Mom felt inclined to throw a cushion at him, he'd probably manage to block it in time. I know that's bad, but I've had so many grand ideas over the years. It's hard to keep track of them all. Cove smiled, placing his hands on his hips and shaking his head at his father's antics. I can't believe you, though I also totally can. Ma, your moms were less indulgent. The shock had ebbed away to displeasure. Mom's foot was tapping repeatedly as she frowned at the next-door neighbor, while Ma had her arms crossed over her chest and her lips pursed. I'm sorry, Mia, and I'm sorry to your parents, too. That was way out of bounds. Okay, accept your apology. It was fine! Oh my god! Everyone's making this a big deal. Your moms gave each other that look where they seemed to communicate with eyes alone. Alright, well, that's that then, and it won't happen again. Oh my god, they're mad! Oh my god, it definitely won't. Good. It was a little surprising that they were letting him off the hook, but on the other hand, it was a long time ago now, and you were sure your moms remembered those painful early days of Cove's arrival too. Mr. Holden wasn't a potential bad influence anymore, so a lecture would be pretty I don't know how to say the word. Instead, your mom gave him a lenient smile. Now that it's settled, why don't we find something to do? Nods of agreement cascaded through the group in a couple of waves at the suggestion. Mr. Holden's shoulders slumped with a release of tension. He brought his hands down, tucking them away into his pockets. The two families spent the rest of the noon together chatting and catching up, though he accepted Mr. Holden's apology. Cove caught up for lost time by pitching the old jab at his dad. Your moms didn't seem amused. The news still too fresh, but you enjoyed finally being able to laugh about it freely. You truly relaxed, knowing there were no longer any secrets between the two families. You felt freed and yet simultaneously more tied together than you had been before. Ah, that's the end of the moment. Okay. Wow. Okay. So we finally took Cove about, the money and him. Well, not Cove, but his dad offering us to be his friend. That went better than I expected. I'm glad. I'm happy. But yeah, everyone, that's all for today's video. But lastly, gentlemen, thank you for watching. A wonderful day, everyone. Bye!